Hello everyone, welcome to another Tuesday training at 12 o'clock. If you're joining me, be sure to drop a name or where you're coming from. Send me a like or maybe a link to your website or a page. We'd love to know who you are. But thanks again. We're going to be doing a quick history of search engine optimization, otherwise known as SEO. You might be new to SEO, or maybe you're a veteran and I'm only going to verify the things you already know. But maybe you could help some people out in the message board with any details people might want to know about the history of search engine optimization. Now this is just a quick history, but I think if you see the development of search engine optimization, you'll understand the methods that modern day web designers are using today. And hopefully you can apply these principles to your website. So, get out some notes. I'm sure you'll learn something here. Let's get started. So once again, we're doing the quick history of search engine optimization. Now let's go ahead and define exactly what SEO is. This is the process, and that's important to know. It is a process of affecting the online visibility of a website and a web search engine's unpaid results, often referred to as organic. And so it's important to understand that when we're talking about search engine optimization, these are unpaid search results. So let's just get it out there right now. Let's put it down on the table here. You can pay Google, you can pay Microsoft, you can pay any other search provider money, and they will put you at the top of the search results. Okay, money talks. So you want the best SEO? Cough up some money. And that's really, we're done. You guys can go now. Bye-bye. But for the rest of you who want to build search engine optimization using free or unpaid traffic, or organic as we say, that's what this presentation is all about. So to get up at the top, what we're talking about is when someone types in a search query, you want your website to go all the way up to the top, as high as you can go. Now, these are the things that people who are concerned about SEO need to be concerned with. Okay, first you need to know how search engines work. Now, their algorithms are a mystery to most people, and they're copyrighted, and that is for a reason, as we'll get to later on. But the more you know about how search engines work, then you'll understand the appropriate strategy you should use. You're also going to be concerned about the algorithms those search engines are using. Also, you need to know about the people. I mean, what sort of things are people searching for? What words are they using? For example, if you have a hair salon, you want to know, are people typing in the words hair salon? Or is beauty parlor a more popular term? Or what's more popular in your area? Maybe people just type in haircut. So by putting the word haircut somewhere on your website, that's going to help you with that unpaid organic traffic. So what are people searching for? What key terms are people using? And you want to know which search engine our target audience is using. So maybe your target audience are older people with money, maybe people who are retiring. Hey, some of them might still be using AOL. And if you're using AOL, that's fine. But you want to know, who is your target audience using? What if you're targeting teenagers? Are they using AOL? a lot of them probably never even heard of AOL. They're probably using Google. In fact, Google is just another word in their vocabulary. So it's important to know which search engine your target audience is using. So what can we do about improving our search engine optimization? Right now I'm just checking the chat room, just seeing who's out there. Nicole Modi's here. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining us. Let's see if we have anyone else. All right. Okay, excellent. Thank you for the comments, everybody. If you are watching this after live, if you're watching the replay, you could still leave a comment, and people watching the video later on can still see your comments, and I could respond to them. So if you have any comments so far, or you like what we're talking about, give me a heart or a like. And we have Dolores Renee Woods here. Hello, thank you for being here. Again, feel free to leave a comment, like, whatever you want to do. This is for you guys. So the more I hear from you, the better this is going to be. So let's get back to SEO. What actions can you do to improve your search results? Well, there's a few things, and I have them listed here. You can edit the content that's on your site, right? That is within your power to do. You can add more content, and that's why it's good to have a blog on your website, because that's a place where you can continually add content without having to add web pages. You want to increase the relevancy using those keywords. So knowing what words people are using to search for your product or service, and then making sure you are including those words. Also, you want to remove any barriers there are to indexing. For example, right now, in fact, as of 2017, Google is ranking sites higher if their website is optimized for mobile devices. If you have not optimized your website for mobile devices, then be sure to check me out at www.webmasteracademy.online. I'll show you how to optimize your site for mobile. But if you're not doing that, you are putting a barrier between you and those search engines. So you want to remove any barriers. The other thing you want to do is you can do site promotions with links and backlinks. So be a guest speaker on another blog or a website that has a much bigger presence than yours. See if you can be a part of that bigger website, either contributing an article or, hey, just maybe contributing some money and have them mention you. And you're going to see later on how that plays in. Also, the backlinks are important. So one of the things Google and other search engines look for are the conversations being held about your website. And what's interesting about that is it doesn't, since it's a machine, it doesn't know whether those conversations are good or bad. You know, as one famous person said, all publicity is good, right? Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, right? It's getting your site out there. So are people having discussions about your website that are not being held on your site? For example, are they on Facebook? Are they on Twitter? Are they on things like Discuss or Reddit? And they're having lots of conversations about the things and ideas, products, services you are presenting. That's called a backlink. And of course, is your site optimized for mobile search? And I talked about that already. Let's do a quick little history lesson here. Let's go back to Windows 95. Let's go back to 1995. All right. I would say raise your hand, but let me know in the comments or just give me a like if you had a computer in 1995. Okay, if you remember, that is going way back. And I'm just checking the chat room here. All right. In fact, Nicole Modi brings up a great question. He says, why work on SEO? We can run an ad to be on top in Google. Exactly. You're exactly right. And I said that in the beginning, if you pay Google or anyone else, you'll already be on top, right? Game over. But why work on SEO? Because this is the search results for unpaid traffic. This is how to win at unpaid search results. And a lot of times your strategy needs to have both. You should have paid, and you can leverage the power and knowledge of SEO to also be top ranking without paying. Okay, so let's go back to Windows 95. Now you remember the internet was just a little baby back then. And this is how things worked. Okay, so you would have a webmaster. They'd create a website. They would take the domain name or URL of your site, and they would submit it to a search engine. And there were lots of them back then. And you submit the URL. The search engine would then go to your website, and with spider crawlers, they would crawl all over your website. Of course, this is digital spiders, virtual. They would crawl all over your site, and they would find things like links, names, titles of articles, names of your products and services, and they would carry them back to the search engine, and then that's how your website gets indexed. So that's how business was done in the mid to late 90s. As a result of that, people were doing something called keyword stuffing. And they would just take, since they understood the process, they would just copy words. So that way, when the web crawlers crawled over the site, they said, wow, there are like 50 or 100 times this website is talking about, in this case, software development and consulting services. Whoa, wow, that site must be really important to anyone looking for software development and consulting services. So this is how they were gaming the system. Now you can imagine from a web design perspective, this is terrible. Now I want to actually read this because it'll really hit home when we sit down and actually read it. Our company provides software development and consulting services. All right, so far so good. We are the best software development and consulting services company. Our professional staff provides development and consulting services. We offer the best software development and consulting services. Our software and development and consulting services is the right solution for your business. Satisfaction with our software development and consulting services is guaranteed. We build your business solution with our software development and consulting services. Contact us and you will receive quality software and consulting services. All right, so that is called keyword stuffing. And they even, now at least this company tried to kind of blend it all in together, right? They tried to blend all of this here. And that's, at least they did that. Other websites, they would just have a whole block of text and they didn't even bother trying to put them into sentences. Okay, so that's another version of keyword stuffing. And so your site would be about who knows what. And you really want to get that ranking in Google. So you might put Britney Spears, comma, Britney, or how about just the word Spears, rock, roll, music, ringtones, call, or sell, cellular, sounds, bells, MP3, download, files, Janet Jackson, Mariah Carey, pop, Elvis, Norah Jones, Valentine's Day, Valentine, holiday, Christmas, event, special, dance, sing, singer. So just how many different words could we try to kind of gather together and get those web crawlers to find our site, right? So whether you do it through sort of this building natural sentences or you just put a block of text, it's still the same thing, and they call that keyword stuffing. So things started to change in 1998. Now, before I tell you what happened, do people still do keyword stuffing today? Absolutely. I just want to make sure I mention that. But back in 1998, two guys came up with this search engine idea, and they tried to put a stop to it. And so, guys by Larry Page and Sergey Brin. Has anybody ever heard of these guys? Okay, hopefully you have. And in 1998, they came up with a search engine called, or algorithm, they called it Backrub. And what it was trying to do was use a new way of developing this algorithm for search engines. And it eventually, Backrub became what we now call PageRank. And PageRank, the way it works, it's a very complicated math algorithm, but it tried to look at factors like how many websites are actually linking to your site. Now, this diagram is very important, and I want to explain one important part of it. So look at the yellow happy face up there. Okay, that's the big website. All right, so if it was a news site, that's like CNN, you know, one of the biggest news sites in the world. And maybe you're just a little local news site trying to get the world to notice you. Well, CNN's the big one, right? So obviously a lot of people will be linking over to CNN. Some people will just take an article from CNN and put it on their site. But that's really considered a backlink. So if you look at these green guys down there, they're all pointing to CNN. So if I went to CNN, I saw an article on surfing in California. I put that on my little green site. That's called a backlink. Okay, those are those green hands going up to the yellow guy right here. Okay, now here's another website, another news website, and he's kind of the middleman, and he's pointing to lots of articles from other news sites. Okay, so he might get a little bit better SEO. He's a little bit bigger. But the thing that makes the blue one bigger than the green one is one simple thing. And I want you to notice this is super important. This hand right here. See the yellow hand underneath this happy face? The big yellow happy face is pointing to the middle blue one. That's it right there. See, because CNN is actually referring to this website, then the page rank goes up by a lot. So it's sort of this hierarchy, truly, with PageRank. And the reason why is PageRank was developed with the idea that if somebody was just randomly on the internet, what is the likelihood that they'll land and end up on these bigger sites? That's the idea. So just surfing the internet, we've all done it. We've all been really curious. We've all gone on the internet and just clicked on links and links and links. Well, what's the likelihood you'll end up back at this huge one? That's what PageRank does. So the little green guys, as much as they're trying, they don't have the advocacy of the bigger one. So the chances of somebody landing on the green one are very small because they're kind of this isolated planet in outer space. Okay, so I hope that makes some sense to you. And therefore, the takeaway from this diagram, it's really important that you get some sort of endorsement from a site that's bigger than yours. That'll help your page rank significantly. All right, let's continue going through history. So in 1998, Google was founded. Wow. Don't you wish you can go into a time machine and invest some money into this little company called Google when it was in beta? Wow. No one had any idea back then how big it would be. Well, let's look at the two things that made their search engine different and continues to be different. There are two factors, on-page and off-page. The on-page was pretty similar to other search engines. The keyword frequency, the meta tags, headings, links, the overall site structure. Those are things that were within the webmaster's control. However, they also factored in off-page, which is your page rank, as we discussed, and it's that hyperlink analysis. That's something webmasters don't have direct control of, although they certainly tried. This created this industry called link farms. And what a link farm is, it's a website that all it is other links. And there were literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of websites created with this idea that we're just going to link, we're just going to have a site of links. That way your page rank goes up because more people are talking about you. And so SEO specialists would just develop one site after another, and they would just try to get as many links to your site as possible, and you would pay these people big money to do that. So those are the early days of SEO. So that it's kind of this war that really started the war between search engines and fiendish and scheming webmasters that are trying to game the system. So in 2004, search algorithms were created, and they were secret. I'm just going to check the comments real quick. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to say with Nicole, an ad will always going to help you. Why? Because you're paying money. Okay? So absolutely. But as a good web designer, you want to always have the paid part of your campaign alongside with a very strong organic reach, because organic reach is how you'll get out there. And to be honest with you, you could pay Google $100,000. It doesn't necessarily mean your website will be popular. You still need to build that organic reach, and as I go through the history, you're going to understand why. So going back to 2004, the algorithms became so crazy they were copyrighted and kept behind closed doors. And this is for all the search engine providers. And the reason why is they were trying to not allow these webmasters to game the system. And Google advertised that they had 200 things that they would check on any website trying to rank up. In 2005, there was an actual worldwide convention held. It was called AirWeb, which stands for the adversarial, which means kind of this combative side, adversarial information retrieval on the web. And they got together, all these big search guys, and they tried to decide what can we do to fight all of this spamming and fake keywords and keyword stuffing. What can we do? And they came up with some solutions. So one of those is to allow tools for the webmaster. You know what? Because not everybody's bad. Not everyone's evil out there. There are legitimate websites. So what can we do for the legitimate websites to help them get on the map with Google? So Google has Webmaster Tools, Bing has Webmaster Tools, and they allow you to submit your site map directly over to Google or directly over to Bing. And your site map is usually a .xml file, and you're able to submit that. Now, it's not a file you submit directly. You'll usually give them a URL to the file. So the file needs to be hosted somewhere on your site. Now, I work a lot with Wix.com, and just as a side note, as a Wix.com user, when you design your site, if you go through the Wix SEO wizard and you go through all the steps, Wix actually submits your sitemap directly to Google. So just thought I'd let you know. If you want to know more about the Wix SEO Wizard, check out my other videos or check me out at the Webmaster Academy. All right, so by giving legitimate webmasters tools, then there's a conversation being held between the webmasters and the search engine. So that was a good step that's positive for those who are legitimate. And then in 2005, web search results started to become personalized. Now this was huge, and a lot of times Google wants you to sign in. And Google was smart. I mean, they first started off with that lead magnet saying, we'll give you a free email account with tons of storage, like 10 gigs of storage, bigger than any mail provider at the time. And now you have a sign in to Google. So if you're signed in to your email and you do a search, you're already signed into Google. So Google's going to personalize those results. Well, what that does is it takes out all those spammy websites out, because they get a history of the sort of sites you see and view, and they're going to give you results relevant to you. For example, if you live in Riverside, California, and you're looking up bookstores, you're most likely going to get bookstores in this area, even if someone paid. And this really helps answer some of your questions. Like Nicole Modi, I know you were asking a lot about paid versus free. This is where that organic strategy comes into play. Because even if you paid Google, you're not going to end up on my radar unless you live in Riverside. So having that organic reach is also important, even if you're paying. So 2005 really changed the game with that. And then I'm going to fast forward here because there was a lot of development. I'm going to give you the major milestones. In 2010, Google Caffeine came out. And what this was, it was a way to retrieve new content very quickly. Do you realize it used to take months, even years, for webmasters to optimize their search engine optimization to get found? Well, in 2010 with Google Caffeine, they made it so fast that when you put out a new blog post, Google can find that in a relatively short amount of time. So that encouraged webmasters to put new and relevant content and felt safe that the search engines would be aware of that content. I mean, what kind of world would this be if you had to submit to Google every single time you did something new on your website? I mean, it's just not practical at all. You know, Google, they process 3.4 billion, points of data every day. So you can't, just keep submitting and things to Google all the time. So this search engine allowed them to crawl the incredible, huge landscape of the internet very quickly, which is why it's called Caffeine. Now you're going to love this. In 2011, there came Google Panda. And now this is another reason, and those of you who are wondering about paid versus free, and this is another reason why you need to be aware of your organic reach. Because if you're not doing the right thing with SEO, Google's gonna karate chop you with this Kung Fu Panda. They're gonna kick you down. They're gonna punch you and kick you down those search results if you're practicing bad SEO. And one of the main things they were targeting in 2011 was duplicate content. So what they like is original content, not just copying and pasting the same thing over and over on your website. Or, get this, copying other websites' content and pasting it onto your site. Well, they know where that information came from, where it originated from. So if you're just copying and pasting stuff onto your site, Google Panda knows about it, and you're going to get hit. All right? Karate chop for duplicate content. Woo! And then, in 2012, Google Hummingbird came out. And Hummingbird was now, they're going to take that search and take it to the next level. They're going to talk about contextual search, conversational search, semantic searches. So again, those discussions that are being had, conversations, even semantics. So what that means is I could say I'm a web design school, or I teach web design. Or how about web design? Is it one word or two words? Web design or web design? Is this a design school? Is it a web design academy? Which one is it? Do I have to have every single word? Well, Google Hummingbird kind of took all of those different semantics, and it can start to relate that, you know what, you're a site that teaches web design. Got it. Okay, so anybody searching for something similar should be able to find my website. So this is really an amazing evolution, because it does away with the whole keyword stuffing concept, because now Hummingbird is looking for natural discussions, natural conversations. All right, does that make sense to everybody? So what is the takeaway lesson with this brief history of SEO? Be a human. If I were to give you any tip for SEO right now in 2018, it's be a human. The more human you are, the better you're going to do on search results. Human means you talk to other humans. You have discussions. You have comments. You do backlinks with commentary. You do live presentations like I'm doing right now. Facebook, YouTube, they're rewarding people for being humans. You know, one thing about a live presentation or live webinar, as I'm doing right now, is it's really hard to get a robot to do it. All right, wouldn't you agree? I mean, you have to be a human being live in front of a camera. So this really in an instant, live video got rid of a lot of robots. So the more human you are, the better you're going to do with organic search results. And if you're out there talking to other humans in other websites and in other forums, that's going to build your page rank. So I hope that's helpful. I just want to end with these two panels and just kind of this takeaway. If you wrote down any notes or you want to take a screenshot, this is a good time to do it. And I got this from Neil Patel. He came up with this graphic. There are two ways we talk about SEO. There's black hat and there's white hat. And some people might do a little bit of both, but it's good to understand which one is which. Black hat, duplicate your content. How about invisible text? So you take all those stuffed keywords, put a white background on your website, and then make your text white. Then no one will see it. Great web design and all the keywords any search engine can handle. All right, that's black hat. And as you know, Google Panda is going to find that and hit karate chop you for that. Cloaking or redirecting the user to another site or page. That's another black hat. Like if somebody types in the wrong word instead of Walmart, they misspell it and it goes to some other website where they get spammed. Okay, that's a black hat strategy. Or links from sites with non-relevant content. So if I'm talking about web design and I'm going to try to get you to go to some medical clinic that's sponsoring me, you know, that's non-relevant, has nothing to do with my site. So those are black hat strategies. And that last bullet point really speaks to those link farms, those websites that are nothing but links. It's all non-relevant content. And with Google Hummingbird, none of that looks like natural conversational human speech. You're going to get dinged. What you should do, let's leave on a positive note. What you should do are white hat strategies. Keep writing relevant content. Put a blog on your post. If you don't know how to put a blog on a Wix site, I have 4 videos that show you how to do it at the Webmaster Academy. Well-labeled images. Okay, so any photos or images should have some text on it because that's going to help your SEO. There are some websites that get found just because of the images, but you've got to put text on those images. Having relevant links and references. Remember, we talked about PageRank. Using complete sentences with good spelling and grammar, especially with Hummingbird, who's looking for natural conversations. Have standards compliant HTML. If you are a webmaster and you subscribe to Google Webmaster Tools, they will let you know if there's a problem indexing one of your web pages. So once in a while, you can get that notice from Google and you just correct it. And then, and by the way, if you are using Wix.com, they do use HTML5 standards compliant coding. I've never had an issue in that regard. But some of you are doing coding by yourself using CSS or HTML. Make sure that your code is compliant and that you have unique and relevant page titles, because your site map, the name of each of your pages, contributes to good SEO. All right, so I'm going to leave that up there. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please share this with someone else you know who could benefit from having better SEO, search engine optimization. If you just share this with anybody that'll benefit, remember to like and subscribe, you guys. And let me just check to see if there's any questions. Looks like it's all good. If you're watching the replay, make sure you submit your questions and be part of the conversation. I love conversations. All right, so we'll see you guys next Tuesday for our 12 o'clock training. If you want to learn more about web design, check out the webmasteracademy.online. I will show you from concept to automation how to build a stunning and professional website. I'm Michael Wood at Captivated Multimedia and Web Design. I'll see you guys next time.